Well,
okay, so are you going to be that guy in the picture that everyone's wearing red and you're wearing purple? There you go, Donna.
there you go, Donna.
All right, here's my red shirt. All right, what's up, everybody?
I got that listing yesterday.
Congratulations.
Nice. All right,
so
tell us some more.
He's got a really nice house. It still needs some work. He's moving out of it. He's actually moving in with his mother, who's 85 years old, and basically him and his wife are going to be her caretaker for the next 5-10 years or whatever. And they're also building a house up at Lake Hartwell, so they're going to sell this house now that they've got their kids out of the house. But I mean, the guy's been doing home repair kind of stuff all his life. He works in the concrete industry and in the rental industry, so very familiar with rehabbing houses. He's going to be redoing the whole place. I mean, new carpet, new heating and air, new paint, everything. It's going to be gorgeous.
To do all that?
There's some things that and he just wants the house to be mint. I mean, the guy,
I know, but he's not living there anymore, so he needs to quit thinking about it like his house. He needs to think about it like an asset he doesn't want anymore.
Right, but he's got these contractors. He can get like a new heating and air system put in for like $5,000.
Oh, he can come to my house and do that.
Right. So anyway, this house is gonna be mint. It's got a gorgeous pool in the backyard.
I guess my point is even if he can get it for free or cheap, the question is does he need to? Right.
Well,
if you've got a functional HVAC system, I don't see any reason to replace that.
He thinks it's pretty long in the tooth. I don't know if he's been having issues with it, but he's planning on replacing it. But he's going to have everything done in like a month. So, I'm hoping that, June 15th, we're going to have my sign in the yard, and it's only going to take one weekend to sell.
That's awesome. So make sure you put a nice fancy sign in the yard for that one.
Yeah. I tell you what, my sign's going to look gorgeous.
Yeah, don't be putting a $40 dinky old metal sign in a $700,000.
Oh, no, I've got the full white post deal.
Beautiful. Donna, what was your question?
I'm curious, Michael, did you receive any resistance to the commission amount? I'm seeing more and more listings with the buyer commission at 2.5%. So how did that go, and how did you handle it?
Well, I basically gave it to him, and this is a referral for me. And honestly, I didn't care. I want my sign in this guy's yard. I'm hoping that the real benefit to this for me will be all the people that I meet and all the doors that I knock on around his house.
Wait, does that mean you did agree to lower the number?
I did.
To what, 5? If I can ask.
To what?
Oh no, I was asking Michael. What did you guys agree on?
2% for me. 5% total, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I'm still going to pay the buyer's agents 3%.
Just remember, like a really good way to understand if you should be doing that kind of thing. I'm not here to tell you you should or should not. Candace, I'd love to hear your take on this. Is we all have to make business decisions, right? In this type of environment, I got to tell you, of all the environments I've ever been in, I'd probably be more likely to do it in this environment. I'm not advocating for it. I hope that you gave him a couple of objections.
Yeah, we talked about it, but he was pretty adamant that he's like, I don't need your help. I just need somebody to put it on a multiple list, and it's going to sell itself. And I can't disagree with him.
Well, so we're going to have a class next week about that.
Okay.
So there's lots and lots and lots that we can share with you to get better and better at protecting your commission. But as you suggested, he's going to give you an A+ house, and he already sounds like he's going to give you an A+ price. Okay. Yeah. And we all have to make business decisions on whether we want to do that. Right. So again, you seem to have a flexible seller. You seem to have a great house. You seem to have a great price. The ingredients point, more so than other cases towards that being okay. Plus, you're going to use, having that listing as an opportunity to build the business. Just one more side point that, it's interesting that this happens, not even 24 hours from our talk yesterday morning, which is this husband and wife, if I heard you correctly, are moving in with a 90-year-old woman to be their caregiver.
Right.
So either that's going to be really expensive, or the fact that they have to spend all this time with an aging parent and have to have limitations on how much earnings they could have or how many hours they work is probably going to be adjusted. That's going to put financial pressure on the family, likely, unless they have wildly successful, no ceiling of income opportunities like being a real estate agent. Do you follow me?
I do.
So the world is not getting any cheaper. Okay. It's not. It's going to get more and more expensive. And so the way to handle some of this stress that is most likely going to come is with more dollars. I know that sounds crazy. I know it's not all about money. Of all the people in the office, I know it's not all about money. Okay. But money would calm that stress. Does that make sense? All right, Candace, give us your take on that real fast, if you don't mind.
So I'm going to say, good job, Michael. You got the listing. That's the number one. 2% of something is better than 0 of nothing.
Yep.
I'm going to say that, like Bill, in this environment, when sellers are being successful selling their homes by themselves, I just think that's a good job. One of the objections, one of the ways that I handled that objection, and mostly successfully, is I'll say, well, here is my aggressive marketing. And my job is, so yes, you can put your home on the market, and yes, you will have buyers, but you will not have the number of buyers that my marketing will bring to you. And I do have a track record for selling highest and best and the shortest amount of time. And you can claim that too as a Keller Williams agent. We sell for a bit percentage higher and about 2 days faster. So you can claim that as well. And I would say, so if I have to take some marketing off the table, which part of the marketing would you like me to take off the table so that I can still, serve you as a 5-star, give you a 5-star experience, but also to be able to save that cost for you.
Yeah, again, that's a harder argument in today's world.
It is.
And honestly, that for the long-term health of our real estate industry, that this is not good. Okay. Because not only are we starting to see pressure downwards on the commissions on the buyer side, but now we're also starting to see it on the seller side. Guys, 3% and 3%, that's going to be a thing of the past in a couple of years. We're already seeing it being attacked. Yeah. Okay. But, if the more talent you have around objection handling and helping them think from the other side and these kind of things. But if you were to say like, hey, which part of my marketing would you like me to take away? And they're like, wait, you got 6 offers in 2 hours. What are you talking about marketing? No, but you haven't done squat, right? So it can be a bit challenging. I think that's where you need to focus on the difference of your results versus the market's results. Mm-hmm. Right.
I also feel like if Michael had said, nope, I can't do it. I got to stick to, 6%. And the guy said, okay, well, there's 5 other agents behind you who would be willing to. So, because we're just seeing it more and more.
You're right.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Agree with that.
So like I said, good job. You got the listing.
And that's a pretty listing.
My sign's gonna look gorgeous in that front yard.
I cannot wait.
And it's one of these cut through streets where it's a lot of people are gonna drive by it. I'm really excited about it.
That's
great job. Okay, I want to just remind everyone about Red Day today. We've got two places, one of which you needed to sign up for to reserve a slot because it's limited space. The other one, if you look through the details of the daily newsletter that Melody sends out, it goes over some of the different resources that the North Fulton community charities are looking for, like toys and clothes and underwear and that kind of stuff. We'd love to see you. The staff will be at that site throughout the day to receive your donations, and thank you in advance for those. And just one more housekeeping thing. Remember, tomorrow Tomorrow in Candace's room from 12 to 1, we're going to be talking about, or Candace will be talking about the launch mastermind. And the topic for that, Candace, is what now?
Would like to just go over the criteria for the one-on-ones and make sure everybody has a really good opportunity to be on the one-on-ones.
Oh, let's take 1 second to give the group a tiny bit more detail than that.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what we, do you have that list in front of you, Candace?
As far as, I can get it in a second.
Okay. So here's a little backstory, okay? At the very beginning, we gave 15-minute weekly meetings to everybody. What we found is that some people were incredibly committed to those and some people were not so committed to those. As we grew, that didn't change all that much, meaning we still had people that were holding the slots and not showing up. So what we decided to do is everyone that was 4 units or more retained their 15-minute session. Everyone that was less than that went to small group coaching and the launch mastermind. The small group coaching, to be frank with you, didn't work either because people just weren't showing up. So what we are going to do now is everyone that is 4 or more units will retain their 15-minute session weekly with me. Nothing will change there. For the 0 to 3 people, we're gonna nix the small groups. Okay, so no more small group meetings until we tell you otherwise. Okay. All the people that are 0 to 3 units, we will direct them to the weekly launch mastermind, and we will announce the topic every week that Candace will be running. There will also be a earn-in system where you can earn a one-on-one weekly with Candace. Okay, so when you're 0 to 3 units, now you have an opportunity to earn a one-on-one in addition to the launch mastermind. So Candace, how do they earn a one-on-one with you?
So most everything is a one and done, and you're good. And then you send a draft of your GPS, that's the 135, and send a draft of your GPS to me. Try to do that before Sunday evening. To report this is the only ongoing piece, to report your numbers Sunday evening each week. To have 100 people in your command database, to complete your DISC, and the results will be emailed to both Bill and me, and to have the economic model completed.
Talk a little closer.
Oh, and to have the economic model completed and understand the big rocks. Now, don't think you're out there on an island by yourself. If you need help with any one of these things, just reach out, or more than one thing, just reach out and we'll be glad to help you because we want you to be successful, obviously. This isn't like a hurdle to get you to stop you. It's a hurdle to move your business forward.
Okay, so let me summarize that. So everyone that has had a 15-minute kind of interview session with us, now that we finalized some of the details, I'm going to send you a instruction list, including the list that Candace just went over. It will include a DISC test, just so you know what you are and we know what you are. And that'll help us serve you better, and that'll help you be more aware of some of your personality traits and some of your behavioral styles, and how to interact properly with those in the community that you are aiming to serve. And then we will be posting a link it's a Calendly link for Candace, and she will have some slots starting Monday of this upcoming week available, 11 to 12:30 on Monday and 1 to 2 on Tuesday. If there are more people that earn one-on-ones, we will deal with that when the time comes. Okay? All right, Candace, teach us something today, please.
Okay, well, Michael, this is going to help you because you're probably going to have to evaluate multiple offers. So
thank you very much.
This is the way that I do it. Now, I'm sure that those people who have admins who are super organized have probably an even more efficient way of doing this. But I'm just going to give you an example of. Let me share my screen.
Oh, hang on. Let me give you permission to do that. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just using, and this is so easy because I need to keep things simple in my world. Let me just find the right thing. I think that's it. Are you seeing something that says 68 Highland, 90 Messina Way, 234 Orange Circle? Yep. Okay, so we're going to go down here to this one. Okay, so I just labeled them offer number. I started to put them into folders, and that got to be too time consuming. So I put offer number 1, offer number 2, offer number 3, offer 4, offer 4.1 because they revised their offer after I talked to them. Offer 5, offer 6, offer 7, offer 8. And here's the offer analysis. So I put each offer as they came into the email into a file folder for this particular listing so that I could refer back to offer number 2 or offer number 3. And then I created a spreadsheet. And my subscription's always canceled. I created a spreadsheet, and this is basically the pieces that I needed to know to evaluate these offers. So I had the offer number, who the brokerage was so I could keep it straight, offer price, closing costs requested, proof of funds, if they were presented, days to verify funds, if they asked for days to verify funds, the closing date that they wanted, the days of due diligence that they requested, whether or not there was a financing contingency, whether or not there was an appraisal contingency. If there was appraisal contingency, how many days for the appraisal contingency, and the earnest money amount that they put down, the days till they submitted the earnest money, and the deadline for us to respond. So what this helped me do is I could pretty quickly weed out if I saw that there was a financing contingency. I'm going to take out these the fills because I do that a little different. That was my method there. But I'm going to say here there's a financing contingency. So this one I can see is a little low, and it also has a financing contingency. So I'm going to fill that one red. That's probably going to be one that I weed out.
Okay, hold on. So do y'all see that was, I want you to understand something. That offer represents a buyer who really wants that house. And they're working with a buyer's agent who left their family to go show that house to that person. Then they came home and spent too much time writing an offer, and their offer wasn't that great. And so
noticing that it's a Keller Williams agent too.
You know what? We shouldn't judge the agent. Well, we should judge the agent a little bit, but the fact of the matter is the buyer either was not coached to make a better offer or was unable to make a better offer. And the fact of the matter is they looked at two lines in the contract, and that was it.
Yeah.
They had a financing contingency. They lost. That was it.
Yeah.
That was all that effort came down to one question. Do you need a financing contingency? If the answer is yes, you don't win. So I want you to understand this is how important it is. And I wouldn't even be afraid to show a spreadsheet like this. Candace, if you can maybe switch the, delete whatever you need to delete and just show us the blank one and maybe drop it into the Google Drive or download it, and I can.
You mean just take out all these numbers?
Yeah, I mean, not now, but after you're done. And then Michael, for example, you could show this type of spreadsheet. Look, this is what our agents are using in order to help sellers choose the most aggressive and assertive offer, right? And so these are the blanks they're going to be looking at. If you put a crappy number in one of these blanks, your offer could die right there. So
Candace, I'm curious, what was the list price?
It was $455.
500?
455.
No, I'm saying somebody offered 500 though.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. A lot of them came in right at, and then some came in, under. But and so that's basically how I was able to evaluate. And I think we chose this one. Even though this one was good, I had conversations with every single one of these agents, and I said, tell me about your home buyer. Tell me about, what is their motivation? This one was a close runner, and this one almost won because of the earnest money they put down, because they came in overpriced. But I didn't have a lot of confidence in the agent. And the agent, just the way that they were talking, it just made me really nervous that we were going to have some issues during inspection, that we were going to have, there was going to be something coming up. So we didn't choose that one. We chose this one. This one was also, this guy, this is Blake, Bill, that used to be at Keller Williams.
Which one?
The Beacon Realty. I think that was the one. Beacon Realty. He
Blake,
was
Blake Jones.
Yeah, Blake Jones. This was
Is that
Blake
who you're
Jones.
working with?
Yeah, he came really highly recommended, and he knew his stuff. He was very, very in his presentation of the offer. He was very careful. So this is the
good.
one.
He's actually he's the old PC coach here, actually.
Oh wow! So this is the one we chose, based primarily not just on. And I went over all these numbers with my seller, and she was like, I'm going to make a profit on all of them, and a $5,000 here or there doesn't make that much difference to me. I want to know it's going to get done, and so that's why we chose it. Some of these they just didn't feel right. So I don't know how to describe it other than that, but we were able to do the comparison of these. Like I said, this one was a close runner. This one, the agent was, it was a 7 days due diligence. It was just a lot of things. So this one we chose. There was 1 day to verify funds. That was the best of all of them. There was 0 days of due diligence, no financing contingency, no appraisal contingency. They put $1,000 down. They wanted to get the earnest money in a day.
I was going to say,
we need to deliver this to her now.
Yeah, we sure do.
Deliver what to who?
Michael came by and dropped off a microphone for you.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Thank you.
You're welcome, Candace.
I'm curious.
It's a gift for all of us, really.
Thank you.
I'm curious about the earnest money. It seems low to me across the board. Am I wrong?
So now this was back in February, and yeah, no, it was low, but that's okay. It was low.
$200?
Yeah, somebody submitted $200. That was the KW
one for 500. I mean, yeah. They all seem pretty low for a.
It's a good observation.
Yeah, it is a good observation, and they were really low, but they also were. That's just the way they came in. So I didn't worry too much about it. The earnest money it's not like it is now with the option money. This was in February, and I knew pretty surely that this one was going to get done, and this one is done. So.
Well, I was just asking because when we're writing offers, I mean, do we want to take a chance with putting that low of a number?
No, I would not. I would put in at least.
Absolutely need minimum 1%, probably more.
Preferably 2 to 3%. Yeah. No, these are low. You're right. So anyway, so that's how I evaluate offers. This one was one of the quickest closing dates. So this was the one we chose. Let me read that out.
What's that?
I said this is the one we chose, but this is pretty much how I do it. I just and Aubrey says what you can do with the agents. Now, what I don't know is if it's legal to put you can create a Google sheet that has these particular headings on it, so that the agent, when they submit the offer, could just fill a cover sheet that has this on it. I don't know if you can post that in the FMLS docs.
I don't think I'd go through that hassle. They're busy enough. They're already going to be pissed off when they lose.
That was kind of my attitude as well. I've heard him say that a number of times, so I did want to bring it up. But I think it's just as easy to read the first page and fill in the numbers.
So Candace, I have another question.
Okay.
Do you have something on there as far as type of loan or whether it's?
If there had been an appraisal contingency or a financing contingency, I would have added, if that had been the predominant, everybody had a financing contingency, I would have added something like for the loan. And I also would have had the extra work of calling each one of the lenders. But in most of these cases, we didn't have a financing contingency.
So one observation I have is closing cost. Not a single person had closing costs that they asked for.
Right.
So actually, let me just take one quick moment to explain something to make sure everyone understands this clearly. There is a relationship between interest rate and closing cost. So let's just assume for a second the prevailing par rate interest rate, let's say it's 3.25. Okay. So 3.25 closing costs are, let's say, $7,500. Okay. And you send that back to the buyer, and the buyer says, okay, well, I ain't got any $7,500. I'll have to ask for that in the form of closing cost. Well, as you can see, they probably would be rejected immediately because they need that concession, right? So an alternative is, well, they need to talk to their lender about other ways to come up with that money. Maybe it's a gift from a family member or a cashing out of an IRA or something like that, right? But if there's no other options, remember that if they increase the interest rate, right, above what they would normally pay, they will receive a lender credit for that, which they can use to offset the closing cost. So for example, if it's 3.25 and 7,500, what if it was 3.5, it might be 3,000, right? And they might be able to pull that off. Or if it's 3.6, it might be 1,000. Does that make sense? So now, of course, they would have to qualify at the higher interest rate, right? But again, it doesn't make a bit of difference if they don't win, right? If they end up having to pay a slightly higher interest rate for 6 months or whatever before they refinance the home, so be it. If that's the home for you, then put your best foot forward.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what if the interest rate was already high? Let's just say that just for them, it was at a 3.75. Would that automatically qualify them for that, or not necessarily?
Nothing would be different. So like, let's say their credit score was worse or something like that, and they were being penalized, if you will, with a slightly higher rate anyway, then they could potentially go even higher. Of course, again, they'd have to qualify for it, but they could offset a higher rate in an effect to lower the closing cost outlay.
Okay, thank you.
Makes sense? Does everyone understand kind of the logic behind that? And the other idea is that's why you can't just ask about the rate, right? You can't shop a loan based on the rate alone, okay? You have to shop a loan based on the rate and based on the closing cost. And by the way, the closing costs have a lot of variables in there, and lender A has to include all the same ones with the same pricing as lender 2 does. So they got to compare apples to apples, because if one of them says the closing attorney is going to be $600 and the other says the closing attorney is going to be $800, the closing attorney is going to be the same number. So we got to figure out what the number is and put it in there for both of those estimates. And by the way, if you don't have a lender that's willing to go through the extra mile to help your borrower or you understand this stuff, what do you think I'm going to say?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. They're not earning.
Find somebody else.
Our job is to work with people who want to earn our business, right? You guys, I've told this story before, but it's been a while. I'll tell it quickly again. One of the first homes I ever put under contract for a buyer was a little condo in Decatur, and I didn't know anybody at that time. And so I asked the other agent, this will tell you the kind of market we were in. We negotiated a $45 maid bill, okay? So the maid was going to come over and earn $45 to clean, right? And the reason why that was important to my buyer was because there was this really weird sticky thing on top of the fridge and this other really weird sticky thing in one of the cabinets. My buyer was like, kind of pissed off about that. So we negotiated this $45. So I went to the listing agent. I said, hey, I don't have a maid, or I don't have a housekeeper, so who's yours? And he sent me his one. And I met the woman down there, and I said, look, I got a really odd request for you. I got $45. So the first thing I want you to clean is that. The second thing I want you to clean is that. And then when you feel like you've earned $45, you can take off, right? She cleaned the whole place, top to bottom, like I've never seen a place cleaned before. And we are still working together to this day. Wow. Okay. The same day, I also needed a carpet cleaner, and I met the carpet cleaner at the house, and I was, a cocky idiot. And I said something to her to the effect of, hey, is a guy actually. And I said, I'm gonna build a big business here. So I don't have a carpet cleaner. I'd like to work with you. You'll be my guy until you screw up. And he screwed up that day, and we haven't talked since. You see what I'm saying? So we're looking for A+ players in our world. If I know somebody needs a housekeeper, I can connect that person with with the woman I'm talking about, and she will go to that house and clean that house like she cleaned this house, right? I got nothing to worry about. She's going to blow them away. That's the kind of people I want in my world.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Why did I get on that topic again?
Feel free to drop her information in the chat so we can use her for move in, move out cleaning.
Okay.
Thank you.
She calls me Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill, Mr. Bill.
That's maybe. Yeah. So so basically I put in just a second, share my screen again. I'll drop this in. Is there anything else that you can think of? Let me do this.
If you want, send it, Candace, you can send it to Luth and she can switch that to a Google Drive real fast if you want, or a Google Doc real fast.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll send it to her.
We'll post it a little bit later in the chat, you guys, in a Google form.
I added in 2 columns. I added in loan type and interest rate. Is there anything else that you'd like added in there?
Oh, you know what? While I'm thinking about that, can I just make one quick comment on interest rate really fast? Okay, so we were talking about this with one of our group members a few days ago. What's up?
Time for Huddle.
Are you leading it?
To let you know. No, but I was going to ask you about Cole Realty, if you still have Cole Realty, if that's for any privilege to you to use.
Yes, I will. Let me talk to you in a second, and I'll come to Huddle in a second. Okay, let me give you a rundown on what I'm talking about. So on the financing contingencies, okay, there is at the very top of the first page, it's asking the buyer to define their loan, right? And let's say it's a 90% LTV loan, and then it has the number of years that the loan would be held for or taken out for, and then it says interest rate, okay? I have always, here's the confusing part. They're not asking you to tell, the seller is not asking you to tell them what interest rate you are anticipating getting, okay? Like I was looking at one that Mahir was looking at yesterday and it was like 2%. What that's saying is if the rate goes higher than the number on that line, then the buyer could say, oh, it says 2, the rates today are 3, so now I can't obtain that loan, I'm going to back out of the deal, right? So that line, in my opinion, should always read market or should be significantly higher than anything that's going on today. 5%.
Hey, Bill, on that one, we agreed on 3.25%.
You know, it is a negotiation, right? You got to get the other party to agree. Chances are this guy, you know, wants to buy the home and he's not looking for a way to get out of it. But the higher that number is, the better it is for the seller. And then a couple lines down, it asks for the mortgage information and it has that big box. Don't fill anything in there. As a buyer, you do not want to fill anything in that box. The reason is, if you were to put, let's say, Kathy, the denial letter, if there is to be one, would have to come from Kathy, right? Meaning you would have to make full loan application with that person, and they may not want to. If you leave it blank, the denial letter could come from anybody. Make sense? Okay, so let's summarize.
If the listing agent sees that blank, is that an issue?
Well, no, because you're going to be giving, well, first of all, they probably understand what I just told you. And secondly, there's also going to be a pre-approval letter in the offer itself. So it's not suggesting that I don't know who I'm going to be working with or I haven't spoken to anyone yet. It's suggesting I know how to fill out a contract. That's why I left that blank, because it's strategic. But if you want to know, I'm working with Kathy Vitale at Shelter Home Mortgage, and here's her information. By the way, I got her on the phone right now. Candace, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, just if you're working with a buyer or if you are a listing agent, beware of the people who change lenders midstream, because it delays closing and it creates all kinds of issues. It can create a very expensive situation for your seller who's planning to move on a certain day and has movers ready to go, and then they've still shopped during due diligence and change in the last day of due diligence. It's a mess. So just beware of that. And I don't know any good way to counter that unless you put in special stipulations that lender identified and loan is the lender that will close the loan. I don't know any other way to do that, but I've had that happen once or twice, and it's a nightmare.
The contingency, like, I'm not crazy about that. I think that would cause more problems than it's worth. I mean, the fact of the matter is the onus is now on the buyer to get a loan. And if they can't get a loan, they got a certain number of days to identify the fact they can't get a loan. And by the way, this is another good example. If, let's say, they put a conventional loan on that loan exhibit, and then for whatever reason, they end up getting an FHA loan or pursuing an FHA loan, they don't technically have to even tell anybody. They can just obtain whatever financing they want. But if something goes south with the FHA loan, they're not going to be able to exercise their conventional loan financing contingency, right? So if they're going to switch loans without a contract change, then essentially what they're doing is they're letting their financing contingency go. Okay. Make sense? Okay. Hopefully we'll see everyone today at Red Day. Let's continue to wish Candace feeling better. Thank you for stomaching the or preparing for today. Much appreciated. And
so good to see everybody.
And don't forget the launch mastermind tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I'll go ahead and throw this out there. Luth and I are working on the schedule right now. It looks like next Thursday, I'm going to do a 411 workshop with the group, just a pop-up class, okay? That'll be Thursday from 12:30 to 1:30. Next Thursday, 12:30 to 1:30. And we're going to do a GPS kind of, I don't want to say intro, but we're going to do a little thing on GPSs on Wednesday's morning call. And this is also on the calendar that we'll send out here shortly, but I'm out Monday and Tuesday. So the morning huddle will be in Candace's room. Okay. Have a great day. See you soon.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Candace. See you all.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.